Hi everyone, I am Uriarte. I'm a specialist in veterinary neurology.
Hi, I'm Joao Loureiro. I'm an European specialist in veterinary cardiology.
And this is to vet or not to vet.
What is your question?
So my question tonight is, should I do an internship after I finish vet school? Or why should I do it? Should I do it or not? And if I should, why? What would be your answer?
Very good questions. So I think an internship is certainly one of the ways that you can continue your kind of learning process. And it's not the only way. There's a lot to be said about hitting the real world and having some experience, the exposure to the real world of being a vet. But an internship is the continuation of a formal training. And I think there's a lot to be said about it. So I'll refer to my own process. So I started my career as a GP, and I thought it was really, really important. It allowed me to understand what I like to do. Like I very soon realized that I didn't particularly like surgery. You probably had a completely different experience.
No. Well,
and
yeah.
Go.
No. I was thinking that I've never actually worked I've done a lot of emergencies, but I haven't done general practitioner, just here and there. And I was thinking, a friend at work recently said that he thinks that every specialist should spend time in their country working as a general practitioner to understand what are the limitations of that general practitioners that they are sending you the cases. And I thought that it was very interesting.
Yeah, I do think that happens. I agree. I do think that happens. I think if you've been there, then you can relate to the struggles of not, you can remember like, oh yeah, I remember that I listened to a murmur and I didn't know exactly what I should do about it. Was it important or not? And now, obviously, being a specialist, you know exactly what you're going to do. So I do think that exposure was good. So my first job for me was actually just to see cases. Just to deal with dogs and cats with diseases and understand it a little bit. And I had a great team. They were relatively small practices. There was like a group, and we saw a lot of cases. So I at least like seeing normals and abnormals for me was very, very important. Like I suddenly, after a few months, I knew what a lymph node felt like, and I knew what a lymph node would feel if it was enlarged or if it's hardened. Do you see what I mean? And listening to loads of hearts, feeling loads of abdomens. So I thought that was really, really important. But then I have to say, so because we've mentioned this before, I really wanted to do cardiology. I always enjoyed cardiology. And after being exposed during the end of my training to cardiology, I thought I really wanted to do it. And I think after a year, I felt like, I want to improve. And the option there was, do I become a business person and try to pursue opening a practice, or do I become a clinician and then pursue a specialty? And that's where the internship came about. So
but I think that there is kind of two main reasons why you would like to do an internship, and then I think that we need to talk a little bit. What is an internship? What are we talking about being an internship? But the two main reasons will be, one, you want to be a better general practitioner. You've just finished vet school, and you think that you need a little bit of support of getting into the clinical world because you may not have that much exposure when you were studying, and you do a general internship in a practice where you can see whether working with a specialist and you are exposed to every specialty, or whether in a practice that has a large volume. And we will touch a bit, what is it important to hit in there, and what type of internship do you want to be doing? Someone that really is going to teach you something. You don't want to be a slave for a year and just doing nights and doing bad paid job. You want to be learning. So that's why hopefully we can help with that. Or whether you want to do a specialty, you want to do a European or American college. And for that, you're going to need a general internship in most of the colleges at the moment, or few years in general practice. But it's true that it will be the pathway to get that residency, do a general internship into a hospital. So what will be the main difference of the internship regarding being a better general practitioner or regarding being a future specialist? So what would be, if someone wants to be a resident in cardiology, what type of internship do you think that they should be looking for?
That's a very good question, and I do have exactly examples of friends in personal friends that did an internship, a rotating internship, and then they became, I think, much better GPs and just overall knowledge of the exposure to the world of several specialties. So let's touch on what you were saying. So what is an internship? By definition, an internship is a year of training in an institution that provides some degree of training, and there you get an exposure to a specialist or a high level kind of
to a variety, right?
A rotating internship, absolutely. Rotating internship, you'll go rotate around it. You then have the specialty internships, like the neurology internship or a cardiology internship, and those would be more for the people that want to specialize. Generally, or normally, we would expect everyone, like you said, that goes into a training process of a residency to have had a rotating internship performed. Yeah. So the rotating internship, you basically spend, and depends on the institutions. And I think we can talk about this in a future chat, is that, like, should I do an internship in a private practice? Should I do an internship in a university? And they are different. They're completely different. They should both give you training. They should both give you teaching. They should both give you an exposure to the variety of specialties that are available in the veterinary world.
But that is very important what you're saying. We're talking about a rotating internship. Doing an internship in a practice that they only do emergencies and orthopedic surgeries, that is not a rotating internship.
No,
so if you want to improve yourself as a general practitioner, you need to find a hospital, whether it's private or a university, where you can rotate, where you will be rotating through the different services. Doing only nights and weekends, that is not a rotating internship.
Correct.
And we also need to a little bit think about where we're going through, because it's not because it's offering to us that is going to give us the training that we are looking for. But I think that, as you said, that will also, I think that will be important, deciding what do you want to do with that internship, because we know that in certain universities, as a rotating internship, you may not be doing that much practical work.
Case responsibility.
Exactly. You will be learning more, but you will have that exposure to that letters of recommendation and to that people that know the specialty, and they may recommend you what is the path. You're going to find someone that is going to mentor you.
And I want to make a point on that, because that's really important what you just said, Annie. There is a process of learning and exposure, but if you are going to go for residency, a letter of recommendation means a lot. You're absolutely right. So getting in touch with someone, being mentored by someone that will then help you and direct you in the right direction, and I suppose give you a letter of recommendation when you then apply for another position. You'd have a specialist that say, look, I've spent a year mentoring this person. They're really, really good. They're really talented. They're really hardworking. I think he would be a good addition to your team. That means a lot. So let's dissect this a little bit. So first of all, internships, rotating or specializing. We've covered that. Rotating, you'll be rotating through everything: anesthesia, surgery, medicine, dermatology, cardiology, oncology, neurology, you name it. Everything that the hospital has, you will be doing. So it's important to know what the hospital does. Correct. So is this hospital providing enough of what I want to be exposed to? Like, for instance, it probably is important if you want to be a neurologist. It is quite important that you have surgery or orthopedics, maybe, because you may learn from that you then will be able to use neurology, correct? Imaging, of course. Super important, of course. Spend time doing MRI rounds, anesthesia, absolutely. For cardiology, super important that you have a neurologist, because a lot of things that we do together. So I think that's really interesting. Internal medicine, oh my God, absolutely. Emergency and critical care, probably, because cardiology is often involved with that. Anesthesia, the conversations that we have with our anesthesia team, they're phenomenal because we deal with the same organ, with kind of the pump that maintains blood pressure, with completely different approaches, because mine are all awake and theirs are all asleep. So their drugs, so really interesting. So I think knowing what the hospital that you are considering will provide you is very, very, very important. And then the specializing internship will do it on a different situation, correct? Correct.
Yes. The internship. So that will be the internship if you want to be a better practitioner and you just want to better yourself. And then after that year, be a little bit more confident of the cases that you're going to have, because you have a supervisor behind you to help you taking some responsibility on cases. So if you want to gain experience, you want an internship that is going to let you have certain responsibility in certain cases, even if it's only on the weekends or at night, you need that exposure. So in most commonly, private places may be a little bit more hands-on than university, not everywhere, but in general.
I agree. However, I think as a rule, I think would say that if you do an internship in a private practice, you're probably going to be exposed to a higher caseload, and therefore you will have more numbers and probably more direct case responsibility. But that may not be the case. And in universities, you probably have more dedicated formal teaching because it's already provided to the students, it's already provided to the residents, but maybe you won't have as many cases, but there are different departments and different hospitals. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. And we are kind of thinking, on definitely on someone that 100% they're going to go through their general practitioner life and they just want to kind of submerge themselves into our first contact before getting to the real world, which I think that is a good and safe procedure to do before throwing yourself into, especially in the UK, it can be very, very harsh to go into practice after vet school.
I think everyone, if you can, I think everyone should try and do an internship because I think you learn so much more in and the year after
in a different place where you've studied, so you want to change it.
Absolutely. Being exposed to different, because we see that in some of our interns. They start with an idea that they liked, I don't know, neurology because they had a professor that was really, really good and inspired them. And they're actually exposed to something different. And they go, I also really like surgery. Or I also really like... Never happens. I know. I was trying.
If you like neurology, there's no way you're going to change your mind.
That is actually true. I think I get the same for cardiology. I think if you like cardiology, you're a bit like, oh, you're stuck. There's nothing we can do for you.
If you like medicine or surgery, then you probably may end up liking cardiology or neurology because you realize that it's much more interesting than just in general medicine or general surgery. Anyways, internship for a residency. What type of internship we are looking for?
Yeah, so that I think that requires a lot more research actually, and I really like something they said on a previous chat that we had. Said you go into a roundabout, you don't leave on the first exit, which I thought really interesting because I thought if you're offered a residency, you go for it, and just it doesn't matter what it's going to be. It's a process, it may change, and so I think is really interesting, and it may not be all right or wrong, but I think being considered and being kind of knowing a little bit more what you're getting yourself into, I think it's really important, Annie. You actually changed my mind in that way. And I thought, no, you're right. You don't need to go for the same first option. Obviously, being offered a residency is a joy, but it may actually not be the right thing for you. But this I diverse. So let's go. The question is, if I want a residency, what internship? Fine. So I think you need a rotating internship, and the vast majority of people will probably get a rotating internship first. And I think it does give you, there's a reason why the colleges have it, because it gives you an all-rounded view of specialities. And I think that's important for you to become a good specialist. Is it that in that year, did I learn a lot of neurology in my rotating? No, I didn't, because there wasn't my interest. So I was already focused on the cardiology. So if you're thinking then about a residency, I think it is important that you have someone in the institution, either private.
You need a mentor. You need a mentor.
That's what I was going to say. Either private or university, they will be available to mentor you and to guide you a little bit, because that's really, really difficult. And it does come, like, if not that I've not, as you know, you're much more involved in training than I am, but when we're a relatively small world, and if you get a letter of someone that you trust, you know, and they say this person is really, really good, it means a lot. You're still going to do your interview, you're still going to choose, because your situation will be specific and you want to get the right person for your situation. But a well-written letter says, no, this one, he or she is a good one.
Yeah, I think that another very, very important tip of what you said, that I'm a little bit more involved in training, it's a little bit also similar to what we've been saying before. Do you need to be a diplomat to be a very good cardiologist? No. If you're a diplomat, are you going to be the best cardiologist? Maybe not the best, but you're probably going to be a very good one. So there's certain
you prove the best you can be. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So in the internship is the same. Doesn't mean because there is not a diplomat in neurology in that internship that there's no way you're going to get a residency. No. But if you go to a place to do a general internship, that they already have an established neurology internship and neurology residency, you're going to get that training, because as you said, that training is already set up. And you're going to find a good mentor, because the people working there are already training interns and residents, so they know what do you need to do to get that internship and that residency. So to me, that would be the most important thing when you're looking for a rotating internship. If you like a specialty, if you're doing that because you want to go to a specialty, put on the priority the internship that has availabilities to do a specialty internship or a residency or both. Because you may have the most famous neurologist in the world, the most famous cardiologist that has written I don't know how many books, but if that guy there does not have any training, then you may be a little bit stuck there in that position.
I have to agree. I completely agree. I couldn't agree more. So knowing, like, if I was thinking between an internship, a cardiology internship, I want to be a cardiologist, internship that in an institution that doesn't have a residency, or a cardiology internship in an institution that has a residency, 100% I would go for the institution that has a residency following it, because it is hopefully a more natural progression. They already know you. You've worked there for a year. It's an interview
of 1 year, exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's an interview of 1 year. You work really, really hard. You show that you have the ability to do the work, and you like the specialty enough to give you dedication for the next 3 years. And the likelihood is that you have yourself in a very good standing position to be offered the further training. So I think that's a very, very important point, Annie. I completely agree. Would I say no to an internship without a residency? No, exactly. But the setup is different. Setup is different if there's a place that has a residency following it. I agree.
Yeah. And I think that we tend, and that's what I was saying, kind of the roundabout, and that's why you always need a mentor for all these things. Everyone needs a mentor for everything in life. But you may think that, there is this internship, I know this person very well, I get on really well, which is great. And it is important that you have a very nice year, but think a little bit, what do you want to achieve with that internship? If you have that internship that doesn't have the specialty internship or the residency, then maybe you also need to do a little bit of homework thinking, okay, so that diplomates in that place. So for example, in your case, you did your residency in Liverpool. So obviously you're going to know very well the people working in Liverpool. And then if someone comes to do a general internship with you, even if you don't have a residency right now, and they say, okay, but in a year, there is a residency opening in Liverpool. And Joao knows very well the people working it. Because again, when you're going to write that letter of recommendation from that person that you've been for 1 year, and you say to your friends in Liverpool, hey guys, this is a good one.
Yeah, I'll be writing to my mentor. You're right. I'll be writing to my mentor. And obviously, absolutely.
So there is a lot of, but I guess that also what you say that, you get a residency, you don't say no to a residency. I think that also that depends which country you're coming from. I don't think that you or me, you could not say no to a residency, because we were not going to have another chance.
I didn't. I mean, I was so happy that I found one. Absolutely.
Well, me too. I mean, I'm very happy with my residency, but I would not have said no to any residency.
But I guess yeah. But you may like if it's going to mean that you're going to move away, and if you think that you
there is absolutely,
absolutely, and if you think that you actually don't want to leave your family or your friends, or you don't want to be away for I mean, it's 3 years, and often between 3 and 5 years that you're going to be somewhere else. And is it wrong to kind of go, no, I actually want this residency? And when you apply, you say, look, I'm not applying to anything else. I really want to do my training here. That'll feel great for someone in an interview. Like, wow, this person is really dedicated. So I'm happy to wait for you if you're not in a rush. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, but I think that is as a kind of a little bit of a
summary
of the internship, because I think that the internship, there is a lot out there. So you are allowed to say no to an internship. So think a little bit, because an internship in every single institution doesn't have the same value. Let's be realistic. Internship in every single country doesn't mean the same thing. So you want to do the general internship. If you're going to be working in your country as a GP, you do your general internship in that country with a hospital that provides you hands-on on every single case and a lot of cases. If you want to do an internship to do your residency, you need to do that internship in the country where you will be doing your residency. Because doing an internship in Spain and coming back to the UK to do a residency doesn't count. Unfortunately, that's how it is. You do your internship in the country where you're going to do your residency, and ideally in the institution that it may give you that residency, because then it's going to be 1 year interview. So those are the internships that you should be aiming for, the ones that they're going to give you potentially the residency after. Maybe not that much experience, but contacts, mentors.
Well, like me, but like an internship in Joao 4, which you did, counts for in the UK. Like you would think, no, and like, I don't know, I'm just going to say university, but like Zurich has a very good training program. So America, I mean, if someone did an internship in University of Pennsylvania, I don't know, something like that, that would count. But I agree with you. An internship in a private practice in Portugal is probably not going to count much in the UK for your scores to become a resident. I couldn't agree more.
And I mean, there's a lot of things that count on your CV, you know, but at the end of the day, the way that it works in Europe, because in America, I think that is a little bit, I think that you're a little more right for that, because there is the ECVIM program. You put your points, you have your points. In Europe, it's not just about the points. It's also people know you or doesn't know you. Do you speak the language properly? So if they don't know the program, they say, okay, this person has done a general internship in this place, but I don't know it. I don't know what they are doing. Yeah. So
I think the closer you are to the place that you are going to be and the place that you're going to be working, I think is a very good idea. But like, if you were going to work in Spain, would you do an internship in England and then go back to Spain?
I mean, yeah, you could, but I think that I'm not sure that is necessary.
I see
what I mean.
I understand you now. Yes, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah. I mean, because even with case, I mean, in cardiology, there are certainly diseases that we have in Portugal and in Spain that you would not get exposure to it at all in the UK, just because of different.
And I think that if you want to work as a GP in Spain, then I will go to one of these big hospitals in the big cities that you have a lot of cases, a lot of exposure, and then you go back. You have the exposure to the leishmania. You have the exposure to how
exactly
Spanish people, kind of the clients, and also the possibilities of referring or not. You come to the UK, you may be exposed to a little bit of a situation that is not repeatable.
The repeatable. Yeah, I agree. Lovely. So let's summarize this. So internships, we said, rotating internships and specializing internships. And then we talked about the benefits of that. And if indeed most training programs will require a rotating internship, and that often you will eventually do a specializing one. We talked also about institutions. So private practice will probably be exposed to a higher caseload, and universities will probably be exposed to more formal teaching, and that may be something that suits your situation more or not, and also doing your investigation and the search for a mentor if you are indeed wanting to progress with your training. So make sure that wherever you are going to, you're going to be exposed to a mentor. Yeah.
So that's it. GP or residency. We look in number of cases or more teaching and mentors. Well, thank you so much, guys. This is to vet or not to vet.
And that was your question.
And you know that you can subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of these videos, and we'll see you soon. Put the questions down there. Bye.
Bye.